that instilled in me that community is where things work, and always putting people first is where it should always be. So that's who Vincent Williams is. I'm a servant leader. I'm not about titles. I don't believe that titles shape the person. It's how you lead. Leaders roll up their sleeves and go to work. People with titles come in and take the picture.
Or city managers and other leaders within the city.
Hey, family, welcome to the Black Man's Roundtable podcast and another episode of our 2026 election series special. Look, we decided to do these election series specials because this is truly the most significant election year in most of our lifetimes. And sitting on the sideline is absolutely not an option. And elections truly have consequences. I know I don't have to remind this audience of all the policies being enacted to completely roll back all the political progress that's been made in our community the past 65 years. So today we've got a very important conversation lined up with a candidate running to represent District 117 in the Georgia State House, Mr. Vincent Williams. But before I bring him on, let's welcome my co-host today, Mr. Herschel Grandjean Jr. Herschel, how's it going, brother?
Doing well, brother. Good to see you again. Hello, family. How y'all doing? Glad to be back with y'all.
Absolutely, man. You know, it's always good having you on, Herschel, because this is the moment where I like to talk about our two taglines, brother. Where hey, we out there in them sweets in them streets, and you know we had to really go out in the street to get this brother that we have on today, because he's so busy walking up and down all the streets in Henry County and all that stuff that you have to, if you want to catch him, you got to go out there and get him. But anyway, hey, we out here. But you know the other tagline, Herschel, we out here flipping tables, bro, and we know that Vincent Williams flipped those tables too.
Indeed,
now, y'all already know what we do here. We don't just talk politics for headlines. We talk solutions. We talk accountability. We talk about how policy actually affects Black men, our families, our schools, our wallets, our health, and our future. So today we're diving into economic opportunity, criminal justice, education, healthcare, fatherhood, civic engagement, and what leadership should look like coming from this community. Vincent, welcome back to the Black Man's Roundtable, brother. How's it going, Vincent?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me back, man. It's always good to come home to the Black Man Roundtable and talk with you brothers, man. Great day. Great day out here in the world. Beautiful day today. A little cloudy, but hey, the word says, you know, when you go to sleep at night, you're going to get up, you're going to rejoice in it. So we're rejoicing in the day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's good to see it's a all blue and white episode as well. So that's a good thing.
Hey, absolutely, man. I was going to definitely, you know, point out the fact that these brothers, one is Vincent is my line brother, Herschel is my chapter brother. So hey, it's going to be some blue not meaning sad, okay, blue meaning happy. It's going to be some blue moments in this thing from our illustrious fraternity of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So glad to have you brothers, but we're also all veterans, 2 Army and 1 Navy. So yes, sir. So, but anyway, without further ado, Vincent, let's get this thing started. And, so before we get into policy and politics, we like to start with the person first. A lot of the times people see candidates on flyers, social media, but they don't know the story. Vincent, tell the audience, who is Vincent Williams? What shaped you and what made you decide now was the time to run for state representative?
Well, thank you, Rodney, for that question and everyone out there. I'm Vincent Williams. I'm a business owner. I'm a husband. I'm a grandfather, and I am a community leader. I served in the military 27 years of my life. I came home. I took off the uniform, but I continued service in the classroom. I ran one of the largest NJROTC units in the nation. Took it from 98 kids to over 250 kids, mentoring those kids to the next step of life. And so my military life ended, but that caring for others continued. And it also transcribed in and right into city council for a few years. And then abruptly, our mayor passed away, and I stepped up to take the mayor's seat for several months to kind of keep the city and take them through what we would have. It would have been a bad storm, man. We lost a mayor who'd been mayor for years, and the people were hurting. So the leadership that Navy gave me allowed me to go in and continue stirring the ship carefully and get the city through it. So to sum it all up, man, I am this guy who sit on the sidelines like many of the constituents I served. I had no idea that I would jump into politics, but it was a calling of our brother John Lewis, who briefly said, you know, you can't just sit on the sideline and do nothing and see nothing, you know. And when you get up, you got to get in some good trouble, necessary trouble. And you have to, if you want to be a part of change, sometimes you got to be in the room to change it. So I decided to throw my hat into that city council race, and I won that race, and I got on the city. And that experience alone helped me shape who I am, along with the values of my mother and father, and that instilled in me that community is where things work, and always putting people first is where it should always be. So that's who Vincent Williams is. I'm a servant leader. I'm not about titles. I don't believe that titles shape the person. It's how you lead. Leaders roll up their sleeves and go to work. People with titles come in and take the picture. This is not the game.
Absolutely. Appreciate that, brother. Before we bring Herschel in, I want to, one thing we try to teach on this platform is that local politics impacts us immediately. We always say all politics is local. Yes, it teaches often more than national politics. A lot of brothers know the president's name, but don't know who represents them at the state level. Break down for our listeners, Vincent, what does the Georgia state representative actually do?
Okay, so your state legislator is the person who goes to 40 days or 41 days to the state capitol and make the laws, the very laws that we have to abide by. There's one law I think everybody's pretty familiar with, and I'll make it easy with this kind of story. Abby's Law. Abby was a young lady, a young girl who was killed because someone passed the school bus, just kept going around the school bus, and Abby lost her life. So her mom went to the legislator of who was Representative Daniels at that point, and told her, we need to do something about this. So the representative then took that to the state capitol during that legislative session, during that 40 days that they're making those laws. And she proposed Abby Law. And Abby's Law came into and made law. And now it is illegal to pass a school bus. If you do, it is a $1,000 fine. There were some people who tried to get that law. They thought that fine was too high, and they brought that bill back up this legislative session, and it lost that battle because all the people who fought for that law to get it $1,000, because you wanted to sting people, so they don't do it, because we don't need to lose one more child because somebody was in a hurt. So that law is absolutely necessary law. It got bipartisan support, and I'm glad they passed it. So your representative laws come from what you as a citizen can perceive as something that is egregious and need to be statewide, because I'm not just a lawmaker for 117, I'll be a lawmaker for this whole state of Georgia. So you're making laws and passing bills and signing on the bills to make it become law. We had a slurry of laws. The legislators have been busy this year. They have also left out a lot of things that could really help people today in the state. So you want someone who's gonna go up there and help do things for you in your district, who's gonna get up every morning and think of you like I think of my own family. I think of my family and how secure I want my family to be. Well, as your lawmaker, I'm going to think of you every day like that. And I'm going to be accessible. I think so long, and I'll give this last analogy of lawmakers. Lawmakers don't get the smoke. You know why they don't get the smoke? Because people don't know who they are.
Exactly.
Because they don't get in their communities until it's an election season. And then you see them running out, trying to do town halls, trying to things that to get them reelected year after year. But it takes an election year to get them to come out. And some of them don't even come out to knock the door. I had a young lady that went and knocked the door. She said, "You're the first elected official ever knocked my door."
Wow.
I said, "Wow. How long you live here?" She said, 25 years. Now get that.
Wow.
25 years. So legislators don't get the smoke that our county commissioners and our local city officials get because they're local. And that's where politics is local. But your state representative can help your city leaders to bring back dollars to the city for roads, state roads, to help ease that traffic. So that your lawmaker does that. So your lawmaker basically is crafting law to help Georgia and shape Georgia and being the city, the state where we got some people say we're the #1 place for work, but we are sadly 39th or 40th for families. And that's not where you want to be for working families. And you're talking about you #1 for business. We're overlooking families here in Georgia. So you're going to have a lawmaker that go up and take your concerns, your values to the Capitol to help enact those laws to better serve you and my citizens.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, brother. And since I think it's safe to say, I know a lot about you guys, obviously, because of the nature of the organization we belong to. I know that we were all born in the 1900s, so where I'm going with that. We were all born in the 1900s, so thank you for that schoolhouse rock lesson you just gave us.
Yes, sir.
So I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Herschel, it's on you, brother.
All right, Brother Williams, again, it's a pleasure meeting you. And you did mention being a part of the community and talking about the entrepreneurial part of it. So I want to embrace the business perspective of it. So you talked about your experience as a small business owner and how it shapes your approach to policy. So for the families in your district who are really feeling the pinch of rising costs, I mean, we're all feeling the pinch of rising costs. How's your background in the private sector? How do you think it'll help craft legislation that'll actually lower the cost of living for families, especially when it comes to like housing and childcare and things of that nature?
Thank you, Brother Herschel, for that question. You're absolutely right, man. I was just talking to some families today, and they hurt because I'm hurt. I just went to take my grandson right before I got on with you guys. I had to stop and get gas. My GM truck, I put 7 gallons in it. It was $59. Now let that make sink in. $49. Think about the families of 117 getting up every morning and they got to go in and get in this traffic. And they got to spend those extra dollars to go to work. And this extra money wasn't in their budget when they budget. When they sat down and made their budget for the year, they didn't plan on we're going into a never-ending another war. They didn't plan on they were planning on that a president who got in and said that he would lower costs day one, and it didn't happen. Well, I was glad to see some things that happened in the state this year to counter cost, but I don't think it went far enough. And Brother Herschel, I talked about the education piece. As a former educator, we need to do some things around education. And what I mean by education, and I'm only on the economic piece. I will craft a bill bringing the early child care to 3. Because if we do 3 years old, we're doing twofolds. I seen a commercial today. Well, it was on the 11 Live News. They were talking about early child care and how important it was and is that our kids get early child care. And with Georgia growing like it is, we have working families. And again, I can just start right here in my household. I have daughters who have kids and babies who are in child care. My granddaughter is 3, and I got one that is 2. It's $650 a month for them to go to child care. Now get that. A working family, got husband and wife, got jobs. They dishing out another $650 a month. Now, if I could get bipartisan support to bring that child care for early to 3, my granddaughter would be in child care now through the state funded program PK. And that would help my daughter because now that would be more like $250 a month.
Right.
So we can instantly help a lot of families off the cuff by lowering the age for child care. And that'll help twofold because you can't really apply for a home in this today's market. What is the minimum? Everybody changing it. But I know in Locust Grove, the new minimum is $300,000. So that's the new affordable home that people like to say, man. Me and you both know that's not affordable. If you factor in what we're doing today in living, and I'll leave you with this piece that helped with affordability. Georgia has a minimum wage of $5.15. Now, go back to School Rock and our old age. Man, that was $5.15, I believe, when I was working in a restaurant in high school. So that's how long Georgia has had $5.15. Now, federally, it's $7.25. I'm no mathematician, but $14,900 some dollars, $14,900 some dollars a year, is that livable? No.
No.
It's poverty line.
That's not.
Yeah.
So, there have been bill after bill after bill by Democrats at the House that introduced them to run minimum wage up to $15 an hour. Now, I don't know because I haven't seen or read those bills because a lot of them haven't got out of committee. But I do know what I want to try. I want to go up there and get with those legislators who have passed that, who have put that bill forth. And I want to say, look, have y'all tried stepping this? Because as a business owner, I do understand the business side too. Now, me and my wife, we own a restaurant. 50 years, we're celebrating 50 years. And 50 years, man, it hasn't been easy. Our taxes are high. And the two things that have killed a restaurant is high food costs and labor costs. So we made a distinct move and trusted God. We basically gave every worker that was at $7 and we raised them to 10. Got some in there making $13, $14 an hour. And my wife have a hard time with passing that to the customers because she said, well, I have a customer base who basically can't afford it by raising. When people think you're in a restaurant, you make tons of money. No, you're having to make choices to help people. And I would love to see the legislators, and I'm as a small business owner, I can tell them, look, we step the raises up each year. Just don't leave it stagnant at $5.15. Let's start moving it north. Let's start off at 10. Then maybe 2 years down the road, we do this. And then eventually, I really want to see $20 an hour because that's really $31,000 a year.
Right.
And that still is not livable. But it's doable with 2 people, right? So we have to look at ways to ease it for businesses, but also make it where our kids can have some affordability with childcare help, with raising their pay help, and trying to get, because we do know that groceries, they're not coming down for a very long time. So the wealth gap is spreading and there's no income going up. So Georgia has not, we've seen a 3% raise in the national economy. saying that the people are buying, but I tend to don't see it here, man. I see people going in the grocery stores and picking up ground beef and they putting it down because they can't
Putting it
afford it.
down. Mhm.
So we have a real problem in our state, but it's feeding off our national politics. But we can do things in the state, and they have done some things, but it just hasn't went far enough because some of the things they've done is for the rich and not for us.
Right. Thank you so much for that.
All right. Yeah, and they see people, and I've heard in the national, media, part of the national conversations that people are using their credit cards,
Mhm.
more, and so
Mhm.
therefore, everything must be going okay. No,
No.
if you're spending your credit, you use your credit card, it's the opposite. So
That means your paycheck don't.
exactly.
What
That means you probably ran out of month before you ran out of dollars before you ran out of month, or money
Right.
before you ran
Let's
out of
face
month.
it, when the credit cards, they're getting paid, and them minimum was going up. So you don't have a minimum of $25. You may have a minimum of $250 because you use them.
Mhm.
So now that's
Exactly.
discretionary income that's gone away. So
Yeah.
that's what the struggle is for American, and that's what my district. Again, they're talking about easing the gas tax. Kemp had done it for us nationally. I think that's what he should do until he can figure out how to get us out of this mess we're in. Is relieved in some way, small, tangible piece of 18 cents to help us out, man, because that's really killing the budget. That's breaking the budget
Mhm.
today, right now.
Big time.
Exactly. Well, we know what Kemp is going to do. He's going to hold on to your money and then give it back to you and make you think he did you a favor.
Think he did
But anyway, I
something
won't.
for you.
Kemp is not here to defend himself, so I won't.
Hey,
And you're
man.
running for the state house and all of that. So,
Yeah.
but you know what though, Vince, I'm going to keep it on economics a little bit. From Herschel, and now this is, of course, the title of this podcast is the Black Man's Roundtable. So
Mhm.
I definitely gear most of my questions. I try to, when possible, to gear most of my questions to Black men specifically. So we talk, on this show about economic survival and economic ownership. Black men are dealing with rising housing costs, unstable wages, barriers to entrepreneurship, and difficulty building generational wealth. From your perspective, what are the biggest economic challenges facing Black men in Georgia right now?
The one thing that, as an African American male, the biggest challenge, man, it is now as a husband, as a business owner, just as a father. Biggest challenge that any Black man, all and maybe not all, is knowing, can you really take care of your family? Can you really get up every day and find the hustle that's gonna make enough money to take care of your family? I talked to a young man, and man, when you out running for office and you get to talk to people, man, you really get to get the pulse of the community, right?
Yeah.
He said, man, my job is doing me no good. I work hard, I come in every day and I do what I need to do, but I just don't feel like I'm making enough, man. So I apply to go in for overtime, and now there's some people don't saw where I was getting overtime in and my check was going up. Now they're trying to get the same time, and now we're all competing for the same time that I was getting. But they don't understand these are real livable dollars for me and my family. Man, the brother was serious. I could see the sincerity in his heart. He wanted to be a man.
Of course.
He don't want to go ask and beg. He want to work, but we're not giving men and African American are falling far behind. When other races get a cold, we get the pneumonia, but the African American male gets a double whammy of COVID, cold, and flu because we bear the weight of our households. And so when everybody's hurting around us, we're bearing that, and every man is shouldering it. So some of the things that we could do, Matt, we could ensure that we they don't like when politicians say this, man, because I think we get into we put ourselves in a box when we say we're going to try to help our own. But there's nothing wrong with saying that I'm going to go up there and fight every day for every man and every person. But we also need to make sure that we're taking care of all the races but especially the ones that I know. It's nothing wrong with saying that I gotta go see what can I do from a state level to help people in my district, no matter what color they are, because I think we're being overlooked by
Right.
even for voting. Even for voting. Tell me what organization, man, reach out to black men, what camp reach out to men for their opinion, and where they do it at. You're doing it.
Yes,
But give
sir.
me another media outlet that says a candidate is opening up his forum to black men. There's
It
not
just
one.
don't happen. Yeah.
Don't see one.
But they'll do black women, and I love it, man. Our women are showing up and showing out. But what we got to do, man, we gotta train our young men. We got to get them in a room. We got to teach them and retrain them how to fish, how to hunt, and give them resources. So one of the things that I loved about the former congressman that passed away. Every year, man came home, he did a big job fair in his community. He made sure that he would put people that came there that needed work in front of employers. And that's what we got to do, man. We got to bring jobs. When we know as a legislator that a business is coming, we need to get in front of it with our constituents. Say, hey, here are the jobs, and here where they're coming, and here where they're paying. And to use that influence that you have to flex your weight to get more jobs and more income to all men, and especially African-American men, because our unemployment rate is very higher than the national average. So right now, black men are suffering all over, man.
Yes, sir. It usually since they've been keeping statistics on unemployment rates, usually our unemployment rate, our meaning the black community, unemployment rate is usually twice that of what the national average is. And so I automatically know if they say the national unemployment rate is 4%, I already know it's 8% for black folks. So and the thing about it too, Vince, and I like what you said before I turn it over to Herschel for his next question, is that I hear what you're saying, brother, is that you know that you cannot go under the gold dome talking about let's create black legislation because, the Georgia State Supreme Court would tear that out of the water, right? Yeah. But however, here's what I do hear Vincent Williams saying is that, you know what, if Donald Trump can say that they're taking your black jobs. So if he's able to use the terminology, they're taking your black jobs, then what's wrong with Vincent going to under the gold dome to think about black folks when he think about jobs, right? If Donald Trump can say black jobs, he the one said it. So that's the way. That's what I hear you saying, Vincent.
Yeah,
Go
man.
ahead.
It's not. You're absolutely right, man. If he can go up there and say it and be comfortable, because and we're gonna get into this redistricting in a little bit. But if they can go up and turn the districts around and say that what happened up there with the Voting Rights Act and the stripping away of, and they just tearing away at the 1965 Voting Rights Act, we can stand up for all people, but we also can say, men are suffering at every level because we are the ones that are underserved. And it goes into health. If black men don't stay healthy, man, they can't work.
Yeah.
We got to go back and we got to dive into a whole lot when it comes to our race is getting them in front of mental health and telling them, brother, it's okay to roll a tear, because we've all been built with masculinity that a man don't cry.
Right.
But sometimes you got to let it out in order to heal yourself, to know that you're worthy of who you are. And then, man, I got a young mentee who I pulled into my campaign, and the dude was straight. Hey, a lot of people would have said, nah, he a little too rough around the edges. I can't do it. But he got a family. He trying to work. Nobody hiring him. So just by him being in the room with me and rolling with me, the young man done found a job. I got him a job in the city. Now he's going to start sometime in the summer. But he cleaned up his act. I showed him how to, hey man, you gotta pull up your pants and you gotta put on a tie.
No tie, yeah.
I took the young man down to the suit store, man, and dressed him up and put him in a suit, man, and got him a barber, cleaned him up, man. He looked like new money. But he also felt like he was now a man that could do for his family. So
Right.
going under that gold dome, I do have to advocate for all people, but I also have to advocate those who are the least amongst us as well.
Yeah, definitely. And
Herschel, I was going to say, go ahead, brother.
It's one of those things. I mean, black men need to start realizing it's okay to not be okay, because I was having a conversation with family recently, and a lot of them don't realize you're dealing with taking care of the household, and then you got to go outside and deal with the world and how the world views you. I mean, me being 6'2", 230, I walk into an elevator with, some young white women. I mean, there's going to be some level of intimidation, even though I don't think I'm an imposing figure. But I mean, it's just one of those psychological things that you deal with.
Absolutely.
Just knowing that the world is viewing you differently. So it's good that you are taking people under your wing and showing them that it's okay to just be your true self and know that, you are worth it. So I love to see that. Definitely.
Yeah, man, being a servant comes with many hats, right? You can't overlook people. And I love how we're taking this campaign and made it about the people. That's why, and knocking those doors, talking to people is important, because you can't say that you're going to represent people and you don't talk to the people. You can't do it, man. And I really want this district rise up and have the best. And I'm going to have this district, man. Yeah, I'm going to love and write laws for all of Georgia, but I'm going to be favorite to home. I'm going to go up there and kick like a dog and a cat to find out how to unlock those dollars to bring resources home, to hire people in these jobs with our state roads, with things that we could do with veterans that I got some things I'm not going to talk about because I want to do it. I don't want nobody to steal them. But I got some real good ideas on how we can get veterans to help our young men, and we can do to get them work, and we can get veterans opportunities to start mentoring young men at the same time. So double, one stone for two things.
It's ironic that kind of transitions into my next question. We mentioned at the top that all three of us are veterans. Thank you for your service. My wife is a veteran as well.
Thank you.
My father, I got cousins, uncles. So veterans are very heavy in my family. And so one of the most passionate parts of your platform is your commitment to the veterans.
Yeah.
You've talked about expanding mental and physical health services and creating workforce training programs for people who are going from taking off the uniform, going into civilian life. So why is this issue so personal for you? And what does a Veteran First Georgia look like under your leadership?
Thank you, Herschel. Man, this is my topic, man. So yeah, I'm feeling really on it because this is really important to me. As a veteran, I came home, and that was really, I took off the uniform, and for one whole year, man, I could not find my way. I didn't know where to go. I went to, we have these things that we go to, like TAP classes and these classes that they give you for you in the military. And they basically tell you that, you got to write a resume this way now. You got to talk a certain way. For years, we've been trained in a way of helping people and doing things. And war, it's hard to pull that uniform off and not have some values. So I came home and I decided that I would want to build some things up better. So I started a lot of veteran initiatives in my community, would sit down with veterans to figure out what is it that we can do together to strengthen our community. Can we get into schools? Can we form an organization together so we can start having conversations around the things that most veterans care about? What do veterans most care about? The people that they serve, the people that are around them, their family. So veterans want to come home and have the same peace that every other dad has, or every other female has for their family who's a veteran. But we're not doing in Georgia. We don't make it easy. I'll throw this caveat. Wouldn't it be nice to have your military record sent? And I know that people say it's federal, but we can make this deem this in the state because we can say, well, we don't care what area of the state does, but we want every military to be transferred. If they're coming home to Georgia, transferred to our VA. See, oftentimes when you try to get care for a veteran or getting claim for the veterans have to reach out to everybody. But what if their record is automatically uploaded? If I'm not mistaken, but then they asked me when I was checking out, where do you want your DD-214 to go to? Right. So if you can do DD-214s like that, why can't we do medical records like that? Because veterans are having a hard time finding their record to get care, to get started in the VA system. So when you can't get care because every wall that you break down, they're standing up another one, the mental health system. Mm-hmm. Because now we're not feeling so good about serving because the public don't look at us in a way that we could feel like we're being helped. So most veterans, and like myself, I dove into a slump, man, where I was sleeping all day. I didn't have, so my wife saw it. So my wife said, baby, why don't you come down to this restaurant and just help me out? And it didn't take me but 5 days before they were trying to push me out. but it got me to thinking. And as I seen the young kids coming into the restaurant with in their pajamas, asking for a job, in pajamas, do-rags on, young boy with the slack. Oh man, I saw my lane, brother. I saw it. I said, I got to go to that high school and I have to get involved. So when veterans take out the uniform, you got to find something, but we got to put them in a resource. So we need to have a state resource center for veterans, where veterans it can be a one-stop shop. Have any one of you heard about the Vector Center?
What you said the Vector? I don't think so.
Never heard of it.
Brother, it's the best kept secret in America. In Georgia, and it's state ran. Brother, the Vector Center is this beautiful, beautiful building that train, re-educate veterans in this state, and it's hovering in middle Georgia. I went and visited the site, and I'll go ahead and say it, man. I was going to hold this so nobody could come behind me and steal it, but I'll say this. If we can model that Vector Center, so I'm challenging all of y'all that's watching this. If you're a veteran, I want you to go Google Vector Center.
Vector, is that VECTOR?
Yep, Vector Center.
Vector. Okay, so is it an acronym? Is it an acronym?
It's
or is it just...
Yep.
Okay, so that VECTOR stand for something. Okay, gotcha.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So, they do it all. So I think that it starts with veterans, occupational, education, classification, which so you go in there and you say you're in the Army, what's the 21? Give me a rating in the military, in the Army language.
11 Bravo, infantry.
Yeah.
So you go in there and you're 11 Bravo and whatever 11 Bravo rank up in the system. They put it in the system and now they break out all the transition to civilian world life for you. It's amazing. Veterans are regaining their ability to work. They're gaining their ability they have on-site counseling with group training. So you can go in broken and come out alive. That needs to be modeled all over the state, in all sectors of the state. It's just one. When I found out it was just one, it blew me away. I couldn't believe that it's not in Metro now. Right. Where this is where the number one, Middle Georgia got a lot of veterans, but.
So where is it actually located? Like Milledgeville area?
Warner Robins.
Macon. Okay, Macon.
Warner
Robins. Is it on Warner Robins? I mean, in Warner Robins or in Macon?
It's on the base. You'll get to before you get to the base.
So it's in the city of Warner Robins.
Yes, it's in Warner Robins. Okay. So man, yeah, it's amazing. So I looked at that. I talked to the director. He couldn't understand why it hasn't been bothered. So that's one thing we could do for veterans. And the state, I will be representing the state as a veteran on the Veterans Committee, talking about it and getting those committee members in a car, and we go take a tour to that Vector Center, and we see what good things it's doing for our Georgia veterans. It's okay to give us 100% disabled tags. I got it. Thank you. But what about those other veterans who are 10% and still got something going on? So we have to start from a veteran to legislators, speak the language of a veteran. We need more veterans in office, but if I'm speaking to them as a veteran, then they can understand it better. And so that's the legislator they're going to get. The veterans in my community can understand they're going to have a champion, because I'm going to champion our mental health. There's so much more we can do in Georgia to help veterans with mental health and deal with the breakdown of that veteran feeling wanted again. There's a lot more we can do. And it's cool giving us free fishing license. I love it. It's cool we can get in parks for free. But we really want to know that we can provide for our family and continue to do that. So retraining the veteran to fish and do something with their life is so much more better. And it's so much more joyful when you retrain them out again in the civilian world to do a job that they're being now trained to do. Veterans don't want a handout, they want a hand up. So, brother, yes, veterans will have a champion, will champion them on the next level to provide great benefits like that Vector Center all over the state. So every brother on the state can touch it.
I love it. Yeah, because one of the worst things to see is a homeless veteran or a veteran who is dealing with mental illness. And if they could have just got that one little piece of assistance, who knows what they could have done, who knows what they could have achieved. So that's a beautiful thing to see. So,
and before I move into my next question, Vincent, is hey, look, I definitely want to thank you, man, for the several veterans benefits webinars that you did with me, you and I. We did quite a few of those things, and we're going to continue to do them. We're going to continue to do them once things slows down a little bit for us. But it offered a lot of opportunity. A lot of information, and I think a lot of people benefited from that. But however, before I move on to my next question too, because I don't have one about veterans, because I knew that Herschel was going to get that one. But one thing I do want is for once you are in that seat, 117, is I want for you to come right back here on the Black Man's Roundtable and talk to me about a statewide exemption for taxes, and all this county stuff for these 159 counties, different counties, and you got folks moving here, moving there, and basing on all. No, look, I'm one of those ones, Vincent, don't too much care for the whole thank you for your service thing, because a lot of times I think the nation is just kind of ungrateful when it comes down to veterans, and so there should be no reason that we should not be exempt completely, from these taxes for the home. But I'm gonna bring you back. We coming back for that one. We coming back for that one because hey, I'm not one of those people that like to have a candidate say what exactly they're gonna do, and then they get up on the gold dome and somebody slap their teeth out their mouth and say, hey, bro, we can't do that right now. So, but we'll bring you back on for it. We'll bring you back on for that conversation.
And that's
but look.
Honest. I just piggyback off what you said, man. I'm tempering down expectations because we can get out and talk about what we're going to do. We can say we're going to do this, and this. Well, I do know that there's a training first year, because you have to learn the decor and all the things that are going on up there.
You're freshman.
You're freshman. Now I won't say that as a freshman you can't get something done. You just got to right, and get it done, right? Because I know the freshmen who have got it done.
Yeah.
But I want my residents to know, every resident, every citizen in 117 to know that they're gonna have a worker, someone who's not gonna give up and take no for an answer. Sometimes you just got to go over somebody's head when there's a no, You got to ask somebody else. They going to have that kind of guy. You know, tell me why. And multiple people going to tell me why we can't. Because you and Herschel know, when we got told no, we couldn't do things because of mission whatever,
Right.
we found ways to do it to show our officers that it could be done. So
That's it.
we just got to make sure that when you can't get something done, go back and tell the citizens the hard time you had getting whatever you try to get done. Don't just take it for granted that they going to know. Because, right, a lot of folks don't know who they reps are.
Hey, but yeah, you know, in the military, they tell you if you don't know how to do it, then you better improvise. So we know how to improvise.
Improvise.
Yes, sir. So
indeed.
anyway, my next one, Vincent, is you know, now that you know, we've got to address something that directly impacts Black men every single day in the state of Georgia and all over the country, really. And that is public safety and criminal justice. You know, many brothers want safe communities and fair treatment. How do you balance, brother? How do you balance public safety, accountability, and justice reform?
Well, you know, being, and then we're going to take back low. And I tell people, if you got you got something that happened like what happened in Ferguson, you know, that wasn't your state rep. That wasn't, you don't call the president on that. That is your local delegation, your city mayor, your councilman, because they are local. We run the police department. You know, one of the best things you could ever do with your police department and have a chief. And we have a chief in Locust Grove that truly understood what we wanted from him. And that was to engage the community through community policing. Strong community policing. Going into neighborhoods that didn't look like them and meeting them where they were. So that when they really had to come in there, they wasn't falling. It wasn't that people didn't know. So when we talk about, we got to, first, before we can talk about criminal justice reform, we got to reform the people who put us there. And we got to get those people who are in effective positions to understand that there are real people on the other side of those bars. And we need to take in consideration how we treat them. So having a bus department who does sensitivity training, I was privy to go into to see how my city trained. So we put on these goggles, and I went through a session where I had to make quick decisions off the cuff. You know, they gave me a little toy gun, and I was virtual. And man, sadly to say, man, I failed most of the times I went through because I didn't have that sensitive training that most of my officers already had. And most of my officers, matter of fact, all my officers passed it because they know how to use the stun gun before they use lethal. And so they know not to lock somebody up on something so small as a doobie just for the revenue. They understand that we just write them a ticket and those go. So having them, but we need to look at statewide when it comes to criminal justice reform. We need to stop low-line offenders. We need to really start training those men who are offending and why. Let's go back to it. Veterans have mental health. What's the number one thing that's hindering our kids today from being the great people that they are? It's mental health.
Mental health.
Mental health. So we really got to do something about and really be bold. We can't keep putting Band-Aids on the mental health piece, man. We got to do something bold for people, right? Bold for our kids, because our kids are coming up and they're not strong as we were. We were built with something totally different, but they're not. So when we look at criminal justice reform, we got to start dealing with health, because in our prisons, we can train them right. Our prisons won't be overran with our kids. The Bible says, train up a kid in the way that it should go. And when they're old, they're going to remember it. So we got to start locally. working with our police departments and ensuring that they understand that we don't lock people up for low lining offenses. We actually put them in some kind of training mechanism to get them back into life quickly. Because when we lock them up and we institutionalize them, they learn from the best criminals in jail. And we need to understand from a state level and really do diagnostic approaches on why our prisons are overran, and we're building more and more every year as a state. And they're being privately ran. So I do know it's a money thing. So some of that may have to be exposed, man. Who getting the money? Who getting the contracts? Where them bodies at? That we keep in all these jails for our men, our young men, for these low line offenses, and getting them all that day labor from them, building up all kind of nice properties for them. So we need to really dive in, man. And I'm gonna be one of those ones who champion criminal reform, because I believe I worked in law enforcement. I've seen it firsthand from a jail perspective. That was the first job I had when I got out of high school. I worked at Georgia Diagnostics Center, and I saw what went on behind those doors. And most of the problem was those people didn't have someone to talk to them before they entered into the system. So we, as men, need to do more mentoring and more talking to get ahead of what we know to be a flawed system of justice. They like to say that she is blind, but I say she can see. And she can see.
She lift up that little Band-Aid and she can see.
That little blindfold on ladies,
you know.
Yeah.
that little blindfold on Lady Justice is pretty loose, bro.
Yes,
But
it is.
but yeah, appreciate it. But like you said, follow the money, and all of that. So, but anyway, Herschel, you got the next one, brother.
Okay. And I just wanted to say one more thing. I'm
Yes,
former
sir.
law enforcement as well.
Yep,
And
that's right.
one of our other chapter brothers, he is law enforcement, and I've had the pleasure of going with him to his mentor group, and what he's doing is catching these young boys early.
Yeah.
Like 9, 10 years old, and just being real with them, telling them what the consequences are for some of the things they do. I mean, if it comes down to, doing something inappropriate with a young lady, or just stealing something from a store. I mean, all that stuff, it builds up, and you never know. You may catch the wrong officer who just see another young black face and let me go and lock his butt up, because he's gonna be a career criminal anyway. So
absolutely.
So, and the
they
parents these days don't want their children going through the scared straight programs that used to work. But anyway,
they worked on us. Trust me.
Our sheriff in our county, man, sheriff's candidate does some great thing. We did an event called Test of a Man. He does an event. He started last year, where he had some great people come in and speak. And we had I took my grandson to it. This Test of a Man, was real conversation with the young men about not talking at them, but trying to understand that they have their own challenges, and we can't put what we've done and live through them. We got to understand them. And you can reach these young men. I'm having an opportunity to help my grandchild be somebody who want to be great. And as a black man, I'm going to do that because I want every opportunity for my grandchild to do good things. And so love starts at home and spreads abroad. Thank y'all for what y'all doing, man, in law enforcement, and that's community policing. When you get police out of their comfort zone and start getting in our community, it becomes less combative, right? Because now I know Officer Joe. I know Officer Joe ain't gonna lock me up for this simple, crazy thing that I did.
Right.
He gonna really, not that I should do it, but I know I'm not going to jail for it.
Right.
And that's where it starts, on the street with organizations like that to help us mentor our young men to kind of be the stopgap of that criminal justice, but also find out why we still put in prison, man. We just keep building them all.
Keep building them, right? Yeah, I mean, we investing in our future in the wrong kind of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've talked about this a little bit as well. I mean, you've been a vocal advocate for ensuring that every child has a world-class education. But you
Mhm.
also focus on what happens after they graduate, like careers in IT and logistics and things
Yes,
like
sir.
that. We talked about public safety. So how do you plan to work with the local schools? And you're already doing this to a point in industries to make sure the students are prepared for high-paying jobs that are coming to Georgia.
S That's great, man, because, being an educator, I saw firsthand how we, in the CTA department, CTAE, which is the workforce department of high school. So we need to make sure every high school, but first we got to do something with the QBE. We got to finally take that 40-year-old rule of where all the school's money is distributed and distribute money evenly throughout the state, and just give fully prop that quality based education formula up, so every school gets their fair share. And when we do that, you're going to start seeing programs like what I see in my community. We have an advanced academy in Henry County, and this advanced academy are doing just what these kids want to do. They're in gaming, they're in advanced filming, every industry that's in our community as far as the filming industry, the gaming. So Henry County gets it. Our superintendent is doing wonders around engaging our students for the next workforce, which in our area is manufacturing, right? Do everybody needs to go in and be a forklift driver? Nope. You know what I tell the kids though? We have one cold storage place that is ran by only several people, and the robots are doing all the work.
Mm.
So I tell the kids, you may not be that guy that's on the forklift. You may want to go to school to learn how to run a computer and learn a little bit about AI, because now these companies are shifting to that formula. That's why you see all the data centers coming up, because
Right.
they're needing these data centers to push the data that they're doing. And brother, that is a hot topic. We need to have a whole nother show about data centers,
Yes,
Yep.
indeed.
but they're not economically doing what they say they're doing on the front end. On the front end, they're bringing in a lot of jobs, and most of those are coming in from another state. So they're not our workers. So come in and say we're gonna bring you a job. That's a lie. They don't do that. And most of the people who stay here are the people who work from and decide they want to move to the ATM because they love it. So we need to ensure that we properly CTE school systems that are doing more advanced, because if we can do more advanced teaching of our kids, we can get them in a higher paying job, not just those jobs that are starting at the lower wages. And that's how they can build economic wealth. Teach them when they're young. When a kid gets in CTA, they're normally in the ninth grade. What I asked the Jackson to do was get eighth graders involved early, because you start getting them in the eighth grade, you start training them about workforce, whether they be in construction, whether they be in business tech. When we enhance these things and get teachers in that are energetic about teaching them all these events, these kids are learning, they're ready to equip themselves to go into the workforce. And that's what we want, man. Every kid is not going to college.
Right. Exactly.
Every kid not built for college. But we don't throw them away, man. We got to find out what they need. And that's exactly what I've been doing for 15 plus years in my career, is pushing these kids from whether they were going in the military or whether they were going into a CEO of a company or whether they were going into the workforce. I ensure that each one of my kids, my graduate seniors, had an opportunity, and they were preparing for that opportunity long before graduation day. Those things that I done, I know how important they are. So I'm going to advocate that we prop and throw more money at the CTAE buildings to construct their own. I'm working with a school right now that has constructed their own, it's a charter school, has constructed their own CTAE building where they're going to be away from the school system, where they can now, and they're setting up a banging film studio. and they're going to train these kids in all camera, lighting, the whole 9 yards, cabling. Only way you can do those type things is to invest in them, give schools money. You got the technical centers, Griffin Tech and all these different tech schools that are still pushing out kids too. So you got to throw the money, man, to them so that they are spending to ensure our kids are strong enough to come out and be good paying citizens right here in the city where they live. I'm sick of seeing our kids have to go and get in that truck every single morning just to go make a livable wage up the road. And really it's not, because by the time you put that gas in and come back home, that extra cheese is gone.
It's gone.
But we need to educate right here in our neighborhood around our block and ensure that our kids are prepared for the next role, because we're getting older and they need to be rolling into those jobs. So I would advocate for more funding for our CTAE programs so that they're full propped up in every school and not just some.
Right. Herschel?
Right.
Okay, great. Back on me, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Well, look, I want to say this though, Vincent, real quick, is that Henry County and that area can definitely come over here, man, and talk to some of our folks and educators and superintendent and legislators. We have that program pretty much already over here in Douglas County on the west side over here, the CCI, Herschel, the College and Career Institute, that works with the technical college that's out here, and they have an entire separate. I think we sponsor them. I think. Right, Herschel? Yeah, our chapter does. And so, you know, and we, you know, but yeah, it's great. Their own separate building. So everything you talked about. But I know that you are the type that will get out in them streets and suites, like we say on the round table, and talk with those other legislators and stuff that's up there to be able to use the model some of these programs.
Absolutely,
but,
man.
Yeah.
See, it shouldn't be bottled up and one person got the secret sauce, right?
Right. Exactly.
It should be. That's why I go back. I really stick on some counties are big on it, some counties that are not. Those smaller counties with smaller resources can't have a CCI or well, you know,
or the College and Career Institute. Yeah.
Right. So every county can't do that stuff. Well, if they get some extra funding, whether it be state or federal, they can, because every high school.
So I was about to say that's where you guys come in, those state reps, to you know, to bring that money.
Like I said, and that happens, no excuse for not getting.
That's
So
exactly. All right, so look, Vincent, before we wrap up, man, we're going to do a quick lightning round. Basically what this is very short answers. I'm gonna ask you some questions and just give me some very short answers, and I like to call it our lightning round. And the first thing I'll ask you is, well, this is probably obvious, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. The very first question, which is your favorite Georgia spot to eat, brother.
Oh man, my restaurant. Hunter's Soul Food Cafe.
Yeah, it's probably obvious. But yeah, okay. So and name that restaurant for us, Vincent.
Hunter's Soul Food Cafe.
Yep.
Jackson, Georgia. Some of the best soul food you ever get.
Great. The next lightning round question is one word that describes your leadership style, brother.
Servant.
Okay. The biggest issue Black men need to organize around.
Mental health.
Cool. All right, and the last one. A mentor or historical figure who inspires you most?
Mentor.
No. Let me repeat that. A mentor or historical figure who inspires you most.
John Lewis.
Okay, I knew you was gonna say that one too. So I knew two of those anyway. But yeah, so that's the lightning round. And but look, one final question, brother. And there are Black men listening right now, Vincent, who may feel disconnected from politics, discouraged about the future, or just unsure whether their voice matters. What message, brother, do you want to leave with those Black men today?
Brother, I would say this. Brothers, we need you. It's not the time to sit on the sideline. Your vote is your voice. And I know you hear that all the time. You're tired of it. You feel disenfranchised. You don't feel like your vote counts. because time and time again, you give it to people who don't ask for it, who ask for it and don't come and talk to you about it. Do yourself a favor. Print your sample ballot. You can go to my voter page, my MVP, and you can put in your information and it'll give you a sample ballot. Print that ballot out and look up every candidate. Take the time to look up every candidate. So the candidate that is speaking to you, they may not have all your check marks, but give yourself a rating chart and dive into each candidate, because it's just more than seeing a sign on the road. It's more than just hearing a campaign quote or slogan. It's about real people helping real people. And if you exercise your vote, then you can let every other ethnic group know to stand by that our Black men stood up in this election and voted with one voice that came from us. And when they do the numbers and they start saying who voted about did it, I want to see that we did it. Because when we do it, brothers, you better believe every candidate is going to start finding the people, just like my brother on the Black Man Round Table, Rodney and Herschel, carrying a show. They're going to start soliciting these brothers to come on to their show to talk to you. And that's how your voice is heard. Your voice is heard when you cast your vote. So when they know we go to the polls, they know we're serious about the polls because we've done our homework. Become serious about it. Don't give your vote for free. Make people earn it.
They can earn it. That's right.
Thank you for that, Vincent. Now, the money time, brother. Let people know, Vincent, how they can support your campaign. And by support, yes, I mean, you guys may not like to say it, but I'm going to say it. Ching, ching. We need some money, right? But anyway, let the folks know, Vincent, how they can support your campaign, how they can reach you and all of that good stuff.
Thank you, brother. You can support my campaign by visiting my website, Vincent2026.com. And that's Vincent Williams, 2026.com. Go there and check out my site. It got a lot of information on there about everybody and for everybody. So visit that page. You can sign up to help us out in these last days. And you also can make a donation. We're accepting $2, $5, $10, and the maximum, if you're feeling really good, $3,300. Because this campaign is not taking PAC dollars. This campaign is not going to let outside people tell me what I should be doing for my constituents. So I'm not taking big money dollars. I'm taking dollars from the everyday person. And old lady reached in her pocket and gave me $2. And then she said it, my last $2. I said, thank you, man. Your $2 is going to help not one more dough. And that's, your money is being used wisely. It's not being thrown away. It's reaching voters and talking to voters about our message through phone banking, through text messaging. So come on, sign up. Go to VincentWilliams2026.com. And that's VincentWilliams2026.com. And remember, people first and community always.
Absolutely. Look, Vincent, man, you are of course a friend of the show. You've been here, you've been on here, and we've worked together in front of cameras quite a bit over these past 4 years or so. But listen, brother, I can't wait to have you back on as the representative, the sitting representative for Georgia 117, and we're gonna do what we do, brother. We're gonna chop it up, and we're gonna have a good time. And I just want for everybody listening to remember this: policies affect paycheck. Okay, policies affect your children. Policies affect your health care. policies affect your future. And so, look, this is a future policymaker that we have talked to today, and I can't wait until to see you in action under the Gold Dome. So, brother, we appreciate you, Vincent. And hey, I know you are glad. This is next week is May 19th.
Oh,
Folks,
yeah, man,
got
May
one
19th.
more day. One more day. Tomorrow is Friday, and you have one more day, to vote early. And hey, so Vincent Williams is his name. So anyway, brother, look, until next time, Vincent, we will see you out in them suites and them streets, because that's where to catch him at. You ain't gonna catch him in no office or at home. You catch him in them suites and them streets. Well, anyway, brother, we appreciate you, right? And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you, brother.
Good to see you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Go Mob.
Go Mob. All right, Herschel.
Right.
Yes, sir. Look, so we're going to we don't have a whole lot of time. Maybe we have enough for maybe one of each of us to be able to hone in on something that Vincent said that we want for the audience to have maybe a deeper grasp of. And so look, brother, I know you take copious notes, so I'm going to start with you. Herschel. Anything you want to talk about?
One thing that really stood out to me was a story he told about the young man who said, "I'm going to vote for you just because he'd seen him." And he's like, no, don't do that. I want you to go and do some research,
Yeah.
And because it would have been so easy for him to just take that free vote. But I mean, he wanted to take a moment and take an opportunity to educate a young man. And that speaks volumes about who he is as a person, as a politician. I mean, that he's not just seeing this is just for me. No, this is for the future. So he, like he was saying, teaching someone to fish, basically taught a young man to fish that day. He taught him that you don't just give somebody your vote. You got to make sure that they have earned it, and you do your research so you know exactly who you're putting that vote with. So that definitely stuck out with me. He's certainly, as advertised, someone who is of the people, who cares about the people. So that really resonated with me.
Absolutely. Sure. And I love his just talking a lot about being a servant leader, because that's what I think a lot of politicians forget. If you are not in an executive position, governor, mayor, or president or whatever, then you're probably some kind of legislator or something like that. And that's what you need to be. And you need to be a servant leader. You need to serve the people. You got to remember that you work for those people. They don't work for you. And you've probably heard me say, Herschel, I think in our community sometimes we treat our politicians like we treat our preachers. No, you don't ask them for anything. You tell them what they
you tell them
what you want them to do. Yeah,
they work for you.
Exactly. It ain't none of this whispering. Well, they'll go to state repping around. It's like, what are you, a preacher or something? You know what I'm saying? Right. And I don't even be quiet with preachers, so I'm not gonna be quiet with a legislator. I'm just being honest, keeping it real.
Right.
But one thing that always stands out to me with Vincent is of course is he's a veteran and he taught JROTC for a very long time. But I think that just in general, there's nothing he said, but something I just want to hone in on, and that is, veteran leadership. I think veteran leadership, by veteran, I mean, military veteran. Military veterans, it used to be almost to where it was a prerequisite to be a politician at whatever level, local, state, federal, that if you didn't have military service, you can almost forget it. And I think that we've seen where the stakes can kind of go if you don't have that. Now, of course, that's anecdotal, but look, it was a thing before, and I think it may need to be a thing again. So I'm looking forward to this 27-year veteran getting up there up in that Gold Dome, but I'm dead serious about if I'm gonna hone in on something, Herschel's hone in on something that I said, which is bringing him right back here to talk about the exemption for veterans in taxes or paying these property taxes and stuff like that statewide. Because
none of us came back the way we left. I mean, whether it be mentally or physically. Yep. So I mean, I feel as though I will be arrogant enough to say that we definitely we deserve everything that is coming to us as veterans, because we put our bodies and our minds and our our families and everything on the line. So it's not too much to ask, in my opinion, at all.
Not at all. That saying of if you served, then you deserve. So that's true stuff. But anyway, appreciate you, Herschel. As always, brother, it's always good having you on. I think you've been a guest co-host, but this time you are actual
Right.
co-host. So
Moving
looking
up in
forward
the
to
world.
hey, moving on up, man. I'm looking forward to doing this with you again. As always,
sure.
man. I definitely appreciate you. Outstanding episode. Appreciate it.
Well, appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. And with that, you can catch the Black Man's Roundtable podcast the third Thursday of the month. Also catch the Black Man's Roundtable Roundup with Rodney and Rodney the second Thursday of the month. And the BMR's Local Lookout with Rodney and Bobby the first Thursday of the month. All episodes drop at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Until next time, we'll see you in them suites and them streets. Peace. Hey, family. If you like what you saw, visit our website at blackmansroundtable.com for more information or to check out more content. Until next time, we'll see you in them suites and them streets. Peace.
Woke up to the sound of the struggle, echoes loud in the street. Generations of pain in the rhythm, blood and tears in the beat. From the corners to the courtrooms, we decipher the code. Every word that we speak is a chapter, every step is a road. They try to silence the story, rewrite the pages in gold. But the truth don't need no filter, the truth don't need no hope. This is the anthem, the voice of the unheard. Standing tall in the fire, speaking life with each word. From the roots to the branches, we rise through the pain. Black Man's Roundtable, we're breaking the chain. Microphone in my hand like a weapon. Wisdom passed down through the ages. Every topic we tackle, every fight on these stages. They say we're too loud when we whisper, too proud when we kneel. But the power in our voices is the power that's real. This is the anthem, the voice of the unheard. Standing tall in the fire, speaking life with each word. From the roots to the branches, we rise to the pain. Black Man's Roundtable, we're breaking the chain. This is the anthem, the voice of the unheard. Standing tall in the fire, speaking life with each word. From the roots to the branches, we rise through the pain. Black Man's Roundtable, we're breaking the chains.
Unapologetically black. We'll see you in them suites and them streets where we're flipping tables like Jesus.
We're breaking the chains.